Hello, who's my cute little tentacle monster? That's right, you are. You're my cute little tentacle monster. Oh, right, we're filming. Whoop. Hey everyone, I'm Egoqueenalexis. Love me, I know you do. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Genestealer called Troop Choices. We already went over the HQ's stratagems and warlord traits, so now let's take a look at the bulk of the army. Oh, and everybody, say hi to my little tentacle monster. Isn't he a little cutie? Look at him. He can tickle people. That's exactly what he's going to be doing. Nothing else. Get your mind out of the gutter. Anyway guys, let's take a look at these troop choices and go over them. Okay, when looking at the Genestealer cult, we have 3 distinct troop choice options. 3 filling different types of roles and 3 being, for the most part, entirely necessary. Unlike a Space Marine army where you just take 3 units of scouts and call it a day, you really want the multiple troop choices of Genestealer cult. This will allow you to get multiple detachments, multiple battalions, which gives you more command points to do more fun stuff with your other characters, such as the Magos. He was just the closest one, so I picked him. Anyway, the 3 troop choices are as followed. Get back up, you're drunk. Don't be drunk during the video, that's rude. Jeez. Anyway, we have the Neophyte Hybrids over here. We have the... Wow, I said that wrong. Neophyte Hybrids right here in the middle. We have the Brood Brothers over here. And we have the Acolyte Hybrids. 3 having distinct weapon options as well as distinct roles. Some being backfield support, others being point sinks, or one being your actual bulk of your army. I really like these guys as they're pretty decent. Not great, but pretty decent. So let's start off with the Acolyte Hybrids over in the corner. Keep in mind, hand flamethrowers are 1 point, and their squad can number up to 20. With that in mind, let's take a look at them. 6-inch movement, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 4+, strength of 4, toughness of 3, wounds 1, attacks 2, leadership 7, 5+ save. So they're not really going to save from anything unless you take a certain Genestealer cult, which allows you to get a 6+ invulnerable save on them. But overall, they're not really that good. But when combined with a Primus, they're actually excellent because they would be hitting on 2+. Then they have their choice of weaponries from auto pistols, which you don't take, to hand flamethrowers, which are better. In my opinion, I really like hand flamethrowers on these guys, being at 1 point apiece. The Acolyte leader, who I don't really have one in this squad, let's go with Jerry over here, can take a bone sword, and they can take heavier weapons, but I tend never to take the heavier weapons, as I don't really see them as worth it. They can take things such as heavy rock cutters, heavy rock drills, and heavy rock saws. The heavy rock saw being the go-to power fist. Well, actually, all of them are go-to power fist, and they do unique things. The heavy rock saw times 2 strength, AP -4, and damage of 2, meaning their strength of this weapon is 8 at AP -4. Heavy rock saws, in my opinion, are the best because they don't have a bunch of other rules that you have to keep track of. Heavy rock drill, strength times 2, AP -3, 1 damage. If the bearer has made all of the After the bearer has made all of its attacks, roll a d6 for each model that suffered damage from this weapon in that phase, but has not been destroyed. On a 2+, the model being rolled for suffers 1 mortal wound, and if that model is not destroyed, roll another d6. This time, the model suffers -1 mortal wound on a 3+, and it keeps going from there. Now, in my opinion, the heavy rock drill is kind of one of those worthless weapons. It's a gimmick weapon, so I don't really use it too much. Heavy rock cutter, strength times 2, so strength 8, AP -4, D3 damage. Roll a d6 each time a model other than a vehicle suffers damage from this weapon. If the roll is higher than the model's remaining number of wounds, it is instead slain. When attacking with this weapon, you must subtract 1 from hit rolls. So the Heavy Rock Cutter is actually pretty interesting because it can insta-gib characters. So when designing your giant bulk army, when you're taking multiples of these guys, a couple of the heavier weapons is not a terrible choice. Though I still go for bodies over weapons. Remember, boys before toys. They also have their standard Rending Claw, which I think is more than enough damage for the most part. As they get 2 attacks each, that's 60 attacks hitting on 2+ with him nearby. They're fairly decent at close combat. Then they have Blasting Charges, which is their go-to frag grenade, and some can even take Demolition Charges. Demolition Charges are Grenade D6, Strength 8, AP -3, D3 damage. And we've already gone over how dangerous grenades can be in the HQ set. But to recap, there is an ability that lets you throw all of your grenades, and they hit better, and they do an insane amount of damage if combined with the right stratagems and the right cult. I think it's Cult of the Rusted Cog that does it. So, war gear options. Any model may replace its auto pistol with a hand flamethrower. In other words, every model replaces it with a hand flamethrower. This means that if your unit doesn't make it into combat because you put them in deep strike instead of blip mode, and they don't make that charge of 9 inches, or depending on your cult, 7 inches, or 8 inches, sorry, my bad. No, wait. It's 9, it goes to 8, yes. I can do basic math. So if they don't make the charge, they now have 20 hand flamethrowers to fire Overwatch with. One hybrid may carry a cult icon. I don't really see the cult icon as too useful, but let's double check what it does, because I may be thinking of a different icon. No, I just need to find out where the cult icon actually is. This book is weird like that sometimes. Cult icon. Reroll hit rolls of 1 in the fighting phase, whilst this model contains a cult icon. Actually, it's really good when combined with him because you're rerolling everything. You're rerolling all to hit rolls. So never mind, cult icon is totally worth it. See, this is why we do the review together. Because I'm still thinking somewhat of 7th edition when you didn't take any upgrades. For every 5 models, up to 2 acolytes can replace their cult knives and rending claws with a heavy rock weapon. I'm just going to go with a heavy rock weapon or a demolition charge. Personally, I would take the heavy rock saw just because it's the easiest thing to remember. Or if you're going to go character hunting, take the heavy rock cutter. But other than that, I wouldn't really take the heavy rock drill, as I see that one as the most useless. The Acolyte Leader may replace his cult knife with a bone sword. You don't really need to, he has a rending claw. The Acolyte Leader may replace his cult knife and auto pistol with a lash whip bone sword. It's not terrible, it means that he gets to still attack, but he also has a rending claw. I don't really see the point of upgrading them to bone weapons because, well, I don't. Some people may have different ways of running these, and if you do, please comment in the comment section down below. So going over the the Acolyte Hybrids and how I run them is I usually run 2 to 3 giant blobs. And the reason for this is they're actually pretty decent, but they're glass hammers, so if they fail, and I don't really care. But if they get into combat, they deal an insane number of damage, and they can hit characters right in the back, which is always really good. But as you've seen from my previous battle reports, it's not a guarantee, so keep that in mind. There are stratagems that help them with their abilities, such as the one that shows them up within 3 inches and uses all of their hand flamethrowers, but then you don't get to assault, and I will remember that. Or you can use the ability to, the stratagem to move closer to your enemy by d6 inches, making the charge for them easier, though that feels like it would be better on a Genestealer cult unit. You can use it on them. Or, and here's the way that I actually like running these guys, is you run them as a simple 5-man squad with hand flamethrowers, and you simply rush them at your opponent or spam them. Because you do have a bunch of rending claws, so as characters get further and further into your army, their models will get weaker and weaker, making these guys far more effective. I wouldn't send them at big units that are tough and good in melee, such as Blood Angels, as they're not going to kill all of them. The rending claws are really good, but their strength is only 4, so they're wounding on 4s. They're good at hitting and wounding. It's just that they don't really deal enough damage with the number of attacks that they have. Don't fall into this mistake like I did. Simply put, they only have 2 attacks, so if you boost that number of attacks, they're really good. But if you can't, they're pretty mediocre. Although, there is another way of running them, and you put them in the Rock Grinders, or the Goliath Trucks, and you rush 10 of them at your opponent and putting all hand flamethrowers in this thing and firing the hand flamethrowers out of it. Pretty decent. It allows this thing to actually be very effective at both long and close range combat. And if this thing starts getting assaulted, you can simply jump out and assault the thing that are killing it, usually taking care of it as well as keeping your Goliath alive. Now, if you are going to take them as either 5, 10, or 20-man broods. Never go 15 because 15 doesn't really work. Unless you have a reason to take them at 15. Personally, I would split that 15 up to be 3 troop choices and get another Magos and another Jackal Alphas. That way I can have another detachment and get more command points. Now, moving on, we have the Neophyte Hybrids. Neophyte Hybrids are going to be they're there, is the best way of putting it. So they're in a 10-man squad, and they can go up to 20, which is cool. So that's pretty good. Their main focus is going to be sitting in the background, protecting characters. That is their entire purpose with these guys. You can do that with the Brood Brothers as well as the Neophyte Hybrids. The Neophyte Hybrids, on the other hand, can get access to grenade launchers. They can take 2 grenade launchers per unit, which is pretty decent. But let's go over their stats really quickly. They have a movement characteristic of 6 inches. Holy cow, 6+ would be insane. Weapon skill 4+, and ballistic skill 4+. Strength and toughness of 3, 1 wound, 1 attack, 7 leadership, 5+ save. The leader has leadership 8 and 1 more attack. They're essentially guard squads. That's what they are. Okay, they're either armed with autoguns or shotguns. Personally, I like shotguns a little bit better because these guys aren't going to go for long range. And the shotgun is pretty decent at close range with 2 shots and going up to strength 4 if they're in half range of the shotgun. And considering that you're either protecting a character that's going to be hunted down or you're inside a Goliath, this is a pretty solid idea. The next thing that they can take is up to 1 Neophyte Hybrid may carry a cult icon. In this case, you don't need it. Up to 2 Neophyte Hybrids can each replace their weapons with special weapon list, and the Neophyte leader may take a melee weapon. Up to 2 Neophyte Hybrids may each replace their autogun with one of the weapons from the heavy mining list. Up to 2. That doesn't give a number, so you can have 2 mining lasers in a 10-man squad? Let me just double check that. Up to 2 Neophyte Hybrids may each replace their autogun with a weapon from the heavy mining weapon list, which includes, wait for it, heavy mining weapons, heavy stubber, which that's the cheapest choice, but it's really not that good. It's not a heavy bolter. The mining laser, which is a short-range las cannon, or the seismic cannon, which is a very confusing weapon, and we'll go over that really quickly. Personally, I do wish they had a Lehman Russ with the mining lasers on the side of it, and a dual mining laser barrel. I think that would just be cool. Efficient? No. Cool? Yes. Okay, so we are looking at the seismic cannon. Okay, attacks with this weapon are chosen from one of the profiles below. All wound rolls of a 6+ have an AP minus 4. If they're at 24-inch range to 13-inch to 24-inch. Oh no, wait, no, it's just 24-inch. Wow, that's weird. It's heavy 6, strength 3, AP minus 0, 1 damage. If it's at the short wave, it's heavy 3, strength 6, AP minus 1, 2 damage. But if we look at the mining laser, it's heavy 1, strength 9, AP minus 3, D3 wounds. The mining laser is just better. Take the mining laser. Seism cannon is a gimmick weapon. It'll slow down the game. So my suggestion, if you do run a Neophyte squad, 2 mining lasers, 2 grenade launchers, no real close combat weapons, rest with shotguns. That is an expensive unit, but that's a unit that's mounted into a Goliath so that they can move up and still fire out of it. Keep that in mind. Or if they're just bare bones, they're going to be sitting in the back protecting your HQs. Okay, that's the 2 ways of running these guys. These guys are midfield. Close range, midfield, long range. Now, moving on, we have the Brood Brother Infantry Squad. These are guardsmen, okay? Plain and simple. If you know how to run guardsmen, you know these guys. They can go up to, I think, 30 people in a squad. This unit contains 9 and 1. Can include up to 10. Can include up to... Oh, it can only go up to 20. Alright, that's whatever. You can form 2 of them into a heavy weapon team, which, as you can see, I actually did. Because I actually like the heavy weapon teams. Granted, I want to run them all as Neophyte Hybrids. And just say that they're the Brood Brothers. And do things like this, because I like this a little bit better. I did this with my las cannons as well. So yeah. And my autocannons, which are up here. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on from that. Each Brood Brother may take a weapon armed with yada yada yada. Okay, so it's the exact same stat line as before, except the heavy weapon team has 2 wounds. Because there's 2 guys. Go figure. They can be armed with... Up to 2 Brood Brothers may replace their las gun with either a flamer or grenade launcher. Up to 1 Brood Brother may take a Cult Vox caster. And the Cult Vox caster allows you to reroll morale whilst you're in range. Whilst it contains the Vox caster itself. The biggest thing about them is the weapon that I have them with. The mortar. Okay? If you're doing a backfield Magos to help support your army, get a squad of these, get a mortar. Put the mortar out of line of sight, put everything on the first floor, and you don't have to worry about getting shot at while still firing the mortar. This will allow you to also protect your HQ choices because you'll be bubble wrapping them. And with a 20-man unit, that HQ will never be attacked. If you want to see this exact thing in action, aside from the heavy weapon team, I did this during a game, my last game against 1,000 Suns. And I kept surrounding my Magos with bodies so that he couldn't be shot at. Now, with that all said, the same thing applies with them. They can take a las cannon, which is a longer ranged weapon, but overall, I always take the mortar. It's dirt cheap, and it allows them to be out of line of sight, protecting characters, and still firing. This is the long range support, close range support, mid range support, each one filling a different slot. Now, what you also can do is go no heavy weapon and just go bare minimum with these 2 squads to make as many battalions as you can. So for instance, if I wanted to run a Rusted Cog battalion that has a Jackal Alphas, something else, and 3 units of Bikers, the Jackals, I would take 3 units of these as well, or these, depending, just so I get 5 command points. Now with that all said, I think we can wrap this up. There's no real strategies with these guys. There's strategies with these guys, but there's no real strategy with these guys aside from just move them up to certain locations, grab objectives, and the like, as well as keeping out a line of sight so that you don't get tabled. These guys are going to be the real MVPs of your army. They're going to be doing the real work while your Genestealers get shot at or your Jackals get shot at. These guys are going to be grabbing objectives, they're going to be flaming things, and they're going to be killing weakened units. So with that all said, I think I'm going to wrap up this video. If you have any comments, questions, or any way that you actually run your troop choices for your Genestealer cult, please comment in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, please be sure to check out the description to this video. In it, you'll find links to all of my social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as a Discord link. My Discord is a lot of fun and very inclusive, and I really love my Discord. You can also find my Patreon. Patreon goes a long way to helping out the channel. Also, I just posted my photo shoot as of this video, so I'm really happy with that. Came out amazing, and you guys should totally see it. Anyway, guys, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen. I love you guys. Bye.